We take a look at the military buildup in the Middle East as tensions increase over Iran's nuclear program. Here's Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin.
President, are you considering a limited military strike?
Iranian leaders have said any attack by the United States, limited or not, would cause them to unleash their vast missile arsenal at U.S. bases vulnerable to attack in Qatar, UAE, and Bahrain, home to the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet. The Strait of Hormuz, at its narrowest point, is just 21 miles wide.
Trump has made clear the clock is ticking.
We're either going to get a deal or it's going to be unfortunate for them.
Also, Americans should know that if they start a war, this time it will be a regional war.
Iran just made a move that has the entire world watching right now. They've started burying their most important nuclear sites deep underground, hundreds of feet below solid rock and reinforced concrete, thinking that no weapon on this planet can reach them. Tehran is confident. They believe they've outsmarted everyone. But what Iran doesn't realize is that the United States has been quietly working on something behind closed doors. Something built specifically for this exact moment. Something that Iran never saw coming, and something that changes the entire game. Before we break down exactly what's happening and why this matters so much, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss critical updates like this one. We're giving you the real analysis that you won't find anywhere else. So let's start from the beginning. What exactly has Iran been doing? For years now, Iran has been systematically moving its most sensitive nuclear facilities underground. We're not talking about simple bunkers here. We're talking about massive facilities buried inside mountains, protected by hundreds of feet of natural rock, reinforced concrete walls that are meters thick, heavy steel blast doors, and multiple layers of protection designed to survive anything. The most well-known example is the Fordo Fuel Enrichment Plant. This facility is built deep inside a mountain near the city of Qum. It sits under roughly 260 feet of solid rock and hardened concrete. Iran specifically chose this location because they studied every bomb and every missile in the American and Israeli arsenal and concluded that nothing could reach this depth. They looked at the numbers and said, "We are safe down here. Nobody can touch us." Think about what that means for a second. Iran made a deliberate decision. They looked at the most powerful military in the world and said, "We can go deeper than anything you can throw at us." And honestly, for a long time, they were absolutely right. The biggest conventional bombs in existence at that time simply could not penetrate that deep. So Iran kept going. They expanded Fordo, they dug new tunnels, they installed more centrifuges underground. They basically built an entire shadow nuclear program beneath the surface of the Earth. And it doesn't stop at Fordo. Reports indicate that Iran has been constructing new underground facilities across the country at an alarming pace. Near Natanz, another critical nuclear site, satellite images have revealed massive construction projects. New tunnel entrances, ventilation shafts, heavy excavation equipment, and reinforced access roads have all appeared in locations that were empty just a few years ago. Iran has poured billions of dollars into this underground strategy. They brought in their best engineers, their top mining experts, and thousands of construction workers operating around the clock to push these sites deeper and deeper into the earth. Iran's leadership has publicly bragged about these underground facilities. They've shown off tunnel entrances on state television. They've released videos of missiles stored deep inside mountains. The message to the world was clear: you cannot stop us. Our program is beyond your reach. We are untouchable. Now here's where the story takes a turn that Iran did not see coming. While Iran was busy digging deeper and deeper, the United States was not sitting around doing nothing. Far from it. The Pentagon was working on a project that would make all of Iran's digging completely and totally pointless. It's called the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator. Let those words sink in, Massive Ordnance Penetrator. This is the largest conventional bomb ever built by the United States military. This is not some ordinary weapon. This thing weighs 30,000 pounds, that is 15 tons in a single bomb. It is 20 feet long, about the size of a small bus. It carries 5,300 pounds of high explosives packed inside a specially hardened steel casing that was engineered to do one thing and one thing only: smash through the deepest, hardest, most protected underground targets anywhere on the planet. The GBU-57 can penetrate over 200 feet of hardened concrete before it detonates. Read that again, over 200 feet. This bomb hits the surface and just keeps going. It punches through rock, through concrete, through steel reinforcement, layer after layer after layer, and then it explodes deep inside the target. And the destruction doesn't stay at the point of impact. The massive shockwave travels through underground tunnels and chambers, collapsing everything connected to the facility. One bomb can take out an entire underground complex. But here's what Iran really never expected. The United States didn't just build this weapon and call it a day. The Pentagon has been upgrading the GBU-57 multiple times over the past several years. Each new version was designed to go deeper and hit harder than the last. Defense officials have confirmed that the latest upgrades specifically targeted the kind of underground defenses that Iran has been building. Every time Iran dug deeper, America made the bomb more powerful. It's like Iran was running a race and didn't realize that America was already at the finish line waiting for them. Share this with everyone you know, because most people have absolutely no idea this weapon even exists. Now think about how this bomb gets delivered. Only 2 aircraft in the entire world can carry something this massive. The B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. This is where it gets really scary for Iran. You've got the most powerful bunker-busting bomb ever created, loaded onto a stealth aircraft that can fly halfway around the world without being detected by anyone. Iran has invested heavily in air defense systems. They have radars, surface-to-air missiles, and monitoring stations all across the country. But none of that matters against the B-2. This aircraft was specifically designed to be invisible to radar. It flies in at high altitude, completely undetected, releases the GBU-57, and by the time anyone in Iran even knows something happened, that bomb is already 200 feet underground and detonating inside their facility. And now there's something even newer entering the picture. The B-21 Raider, America's next-generation stealth bomber, has started entering active service. This aircraft uses technology that is even more advanced than the B-2. Analysts say it is designed to defeat air defense systems that haven't even been built yet. That's how far ahead it is. And reports suggest that the B-21 will also be capable of carrying the massive ordnance penetrator, giving the United States multiple platforms and multiple options for delivering this weapon anywhere in the world at any time. Think about what this means for Iran's entire strategy. They spent years, they spent decades, they spent billions of dollars building these deep underground bunkers thinking they were creating an invincible shield. But the whole time, the United States was building a spear designed specifically to pierce that shield. Every single upgrade to the GBU-57 was a direct answer to Iran digging deeper. This has been a chess match, and Iran thought they were winning. But the United States has been thinking 3, 4, 5 moves ahead the entire time. But here's where it gets even worse for Tehran. The United States has developed a tactic that makes the GBU-57 even more devastating. It's called sequential penetration. Instead of dropping just one bomb on a target, they drop multiple GBU-57s on the exact same impact point, one right after another. The first bomb cracks through the initial layers of rock and concrete, creating a path. The second bomb follows that exact same path and pushes even deeper. The third bomb reaches the actual underground facility and detonates inside it. Using this method, defense analysts estimate that the United States could potentially reach targets buried over 300 feet underground. That is deeper than Fordo. That is deeper than any known underground facility Iran has ever built. Iran's depth advantage is gone. And there is another critical piece that Iran probably never planned for. While they were focused on digging, the United States was investing heavily in intelligence and surveillance capabilities. Advanced satellite systems, underground mapping sensors, cyber operations, and human intelligence networks have all been working together to create detailed maps of every underground facility Iran has built. You can bury something underground, but you cannot hide the construction. You cannot hide the massive amounts of electricity these facilities consume. You cannot hide the heat signatures from ventilation systems. And you absolutely cannot hide the constant movement of trucks, personnel, and materials going in and out of these sites day after day. Intelligence sources confirm that the United States has incredibly detailed knowledge of Iran's underground nuclear infrastructure. They know exactly how deep each facility goes. They know the internal layout. They know where the weak structural points are. They know where the centrifuges are located. All of this intelligence feeds directly into the precision targeting systems of the GBU-57. So if the order ever comes, those bombs will not be dropped randomly. They will hit the exact precise spot where they will cause the maximum possible damage. Now let me tell you something else that makes this situation even more dangerous for Iran. The United States doesn't just have 1 or 2 of these bombs sitting in a warehouse somewhere. Reports suggest that the Pentagon has ordered and stockpiled a significant number of GBU-57s specifically for scenarios involving deeply buried targets. That means they are not planning for a single strike. They are prepared for a sustained campaign if it ever comes to that. Multiple targets, multiple strikes, all happening within a very short window of time. Iran's entire underground network could potentially be hit simultaneously before they even have a chance to respond or relocate anything. And it is not just the United States that Iran needs to worry about. Israel has been developing its own bunker-busting capabilities in parallel. While Israel does not possess the GBU-57, they have been working very closely with the United States on penetration weapon technology and advanced targeting systems. Reports suggest that Israel has received specialized weapons and critical targeting data that dramatically improve their ability to strike deep underground targets. So Iran is not facing just one country with this capability. They are potentially facing two countries, working together, sharing intelligence, and coordinating strategies. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture here. Iran's entire decision to move underground was supposed to be their ultimate insurance policy. It was supposed to guarantee that no matter what happened on the diplomatic front, no matter what sanctions the world imposed, no matter what threats were made, their nuclear program would survive because nobody could physically reach it. That was the whole plan. Depth equals safety. Go deep enough and you are invincible. But the massive ordnance penetrator completely destroys that calculation. It takes away the one advantage Iran thought they had. Think about this from Tehran's perspective. You have spent decades planning, billions of dollars building, and countless hours engineering something you believed was absolutely untouchable. And then you discover that your biggest adversary built a weapon specifically, precisely, and exclusively designed to reach exactly what you buried. Everything you built, all that money, all that time, all those resources, and it might not protect you at all. That is not just a military setback. That is a complete strategic nightmare. There is also the psychological impact to consider. Iran's military commanders and political leaders now have to live with the knowledge that their deepest, most protected facilities might not actually be protected at all. Every decision they make from this point forward has to account for the fact that the GBU-57 exists and that it was built with them in mind. That kind of pressure changes how a country behaves. It changes how they negotiate. It changes everything about their strategic calculations. Bottom line is this. Iran buried its nuclear sites underground believing that depth would keep them safe forever. But the United States developed the most powerful bunker-busting bomb in human history, mounted it on stealth bombers that Iran's air defenses simply cannot detect, upgraded it repeatedly to penetrate deeper and deeper with each new version, developed sequential strike tactics that can multiply its destructive reach, and built an intelligence network that has mapped these facilities down to the smallest detail. The question right now is not whether the United States has the ability to reach Iran's underground nuclear sites. That question has been answered. They absolutely can. The real question is whether they will. The GBU-57 is ready. The stealth bombers are operational. The intelligence has been gathered. The targets have been mapped. Every single piece is in place and ready to go. What happens from here depends on decisions being made right now in Washington and Tehran. It depends on diplomacy. It depends on whether Iran continues pushing forward with its nuclear ambitions or decides that the risk is simply too great. But one thing is absolutely certain right now. Iran's underground strategy is no longer the shield they believed it was. The United States has something they never expected, and it changes absolutely everything. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen next. Do you think diplomacy will work, or are we heading toward a direct confrontation? Make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications because this situation is moving fast and the next few weeks could change the course of history. Share this video with everyone because people need to understand what is really happening right now.